First of all, the vegetative health of Ifunanya's father is a making of both Ifunanya, her mother, her auntie, and her uncles. I do not like to do this, but I am compelled to do this. And I think this is the very first time I am ever going to do this. But please stay with me. Please read the Bible with me before I proceed. I'll be reading from the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 17. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 17. It says, "He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searcheth him." In Ifunanya's case, she presented loads of evidence, and that is why it was easy for us to go hook, line, and sinker. But if you are somebody who knows the Bible and who is led by this scripture I have just read, you will understand that when something is too good to be true, particularly a case against some other person, then it may not totally be true, or it may not be as presented. While I do not know them, I've also tried to scout for responses from the other ends, and I stumbled onto a voice note which tried to explain certain things. After listening to these sides, this is my conclusion, and I think this should be what people would agree with if you are the unbiased type. First of all, the vegetative health of Ifunanya's father is a making of both Ifunanya, her mother, her auntie, and her uncles, particularly those at the village. There was no way communication would have been severed with her father for such a long time. And you are telling me that while listening to the story, you didn't ask yourself, how come you stayed for such a long time without having conversations with your father, without seeing your father? It looked like someone, according to her story, someone who felt like, oh, it's been quite a while, let me go and see my dad. Seriously? Having said that, the other side I had tried to exonerate and explain so many things, but also failed to touch on the terrible vegetative health of the man. That being said, how can you, on their side now, be building, how can a construction project be ongoing in a compound, and someone there is as sick as that, and you have resources, you have the funds to go build and to be building, erecting a structure, and we know how expensive it is to build a structure in Nigeria, and the man is there lying as if he's not getting adequate attention. He didn't look like someone who was given adequate attention. When I began to read and suspect more red flags was when, in the last episode I watched, she talked about putting him in a foster home, or in a, what do they call it again, a care home where they'll be taking care of him. Hello, we are Nigerians to start with. We know how we take care of our own. That was the next major red flag I noticed that made me understand that something was fishy, which she wasn't ready to share with the public. Then again, while I have issues with most people called IK by name, because by default, if you check around you, those people who have that name, well, that's a story for another day. The effrontery she was trying to portray him have didn't sink well in, okay, this is no longer Nigeria. You are now in a supposedly civilized climb, and you're still going to get documents signed and all of those things. It showed that there was something fishy, something she wasn't trying to bring to the limelight. Therefore, having said this, I am concluding that there are problems with Ifunanya, her dad, her mom, which she didn't explain, or which hasn't been brought to the limelight. And that problem, I think, trickled down to home, and that problem seems to be part of the major reasons why the people at home are doing, maybe neglected him. And the people at home did a very terrible job. Like I said at Benicio, both Ifunanya and her mom, her siblings, did a terrible job in making him the way he is, or the way she found him. His own siblings also did terrible. Let's not make one a hero and one a villain, whereas the both sides totally contributed to his vegetative health. That's my take. Thank you.